Welcome then to another Highland League Weekly Friday preview show. This weekend it's another hybrid card, 3 games in the Breedon Highland League as well as 4 ties in the GPH Builders Merchants Highland League Cup. It'll be quarterfinals now. Yep. We'll start with the Cup clashes, our main game this weekend. I mean, it's a cracker, it speaks for itself for Martin United against Buckie Thistle, one that might be too close to call.
If it speaks for itself, we'll go away and leave you to it. But it should be very close. I mean, it's the third of potentially 5 meetings between the sides this season because they've another league game to come, and they could, if Martin get through next week, they could also meet in Aberdeenshire Shield. But the 2 games previously, we saw the league game, Buckie edged at 2-1 in Aberdeenshire Cup at the start of the season. It was 2-2 for Martin, 1 on penalties. So I'd expect it to be either penalties or a goal either way. I mean, it's a difficult one to call, really.
Both managers are looking for a reaction from their players here. I think while Buckie did win their league game last weekend, Graham Stewart will be looking for a lot more than eking out a 2-1 against Lossiemouth. Likewise, Stuart Anderson's looking for a response following the Scottish Cup exit. And what better game to bounce back in with a place in the semi-final at stake. It is close to call. Home advantage is where I would normally lean when these two go head to head, but honestly, you could have a fine hair's length between them here.
Highlights and reaction of that one on Monday. Then our secondary game is going to be Lossiemouth against Brechin City, also in the League Cup. Lossiemouth acquitted themselves pretty well against Buckie Thistle last weekend, but they'll be disappointed to have taken nothing from the game. They've got another of the league heavyweights in the Cup here. Now, of course, it's not a league game, but do you think they can put up a similar performance and push Brechin?
Oh, I think they can push Brechin. Whether they have enough to win the tie, I don't know. Depends, as we've said previously, how Andy Kirk, how seriously he takes this competition. He did in the last round, but Lossiemouth at home will be a formidable task for any team going up there. And while I think they can give Brechin a real scare, I would be surprised if the team that's pushing for the title don't come out on top and get a place in the semi-final.
I think with Brechin now, with the options they've got going forward with Grady McGrath, Botti Biabi and Mark Scott, it's very difficult to keep all 3 of them quiet for 90 minutes. You always expect them to create or score at least once. So that's the big task for Lossie, as well as because Brechin have the firepower. The other thing I think as well, with the way Brechin play, they can dominate possession and give you the run around a wee bit. So you need to try and shut them down the middle of the park as well, because with the players they've got in there, Brechin, if you give them time, they can pick you off because they're a very, very good side.
Their defensive record's outstanding. What is it, 6 goals in the league so far, I think they've conceded? And that just says, if you get a chance, you've got to take it against them. And I don't think they'll give Lossie too many chances. That's the thing. And
as we saw last week, Lossiemouth against Buckie, they had their share of chances at first half, especially. Didn't take them. I mean, stating the obvious a wee bit, but as you're sort of touching on 30, they'll need to be clinical if they're to try and upset Brechin.
The other 2 quarter-final ties: Banksty against Forest Mechanics, Turriff United against Inverurie Locos. All those teams kind of have one thing in common, don't they? That this is, they're not going to win the league this season. It's safe to say. So all desperate to get through the semi-finals.
Very much so. It's for all 4 of them. It's the last chance of potentially winning something. I think with Turriff and Inverurie, I mean, for Turriff especially, the League Cup's maybe a welcome bit of sort of respite from the league because their form sort of tailed off a bit. But in the last round of the Cup, they had a superb 4-0 win against Clach, and they're at home again. So I think they'll be reasonably upbeat going into that one. Fancy their chances of getting through. I mean, likewise with Inverurie, I mean, Inverurie at their best, you would probably expect to win, but they have been a bit inconsistent this season. The other thing I think for Inverurie as well, it's 6 years since they've won a trophy, and I mean with the players they've had in that time and that they've got now in the positions they've been in, they would probably say that's too long really. This is a competition's a chance to end the sort of wait perhaps. For Banks of Dee, I think it's clear they're sort of their first season in it, and obviously with what's happened in the league, they'll be desperate to try and go all the way in the League Cup, and they are capable with the players they've got. There's no doubt about that. I mean, Forest, again, I think it's no wins in the last 5 league games, so Cup's maybe a sort of welcome distraction, and Forest at their best, as we've seen in other games this season, could do it, but if they defend like they did against Nairn last weekend and concede 4 goals, clearly they'll be up against them.
Yeah, 4 teams that maybe all have that sort of consistency issue or have at times this season.
Yeah.
The league games then, 3 of those taking place this weekend. As I said, number 1, Huntly against Wick Academy, 2 teams looking to bounce back.
Yeah, it's Huntly, I think it's in the league now, 4 straight defeats. Wick, their last league game actually was a good win against Devon Vale, but the last time they were in action was against Falkirk, but I mean I wouldn't really expect there to be any hangover from that, and that was a big day for them. They got beat and it's back to league business, and I think both would see it as a pretty good chance to pick up 3 points.
Keith against Fraserburgh. Now, we'll come on to Keith, but for Fraserburgh, I mean, the carrot is obvious this weekend. Isn't it a chance to, I think, close the gap to 4 points at the top of the table with the other teams in cup action? I mean, I think they're going to take it.
They have to take it. We're going to be saying that every week when it comes to previewing a Fraserburgh game now. They've got to take the 3 points. It doesn't matter if it's 1-0, 5-0, 4-3. It just doesn't matter. They have to keep winning week in, week out from here on. I can't be any more succinct than that, really.
Keith, though, first win in a while last weekend.
Yeah, I mean, Keith should get a lift from that result. I mean, it'll be a tall order. They'll start as underdogs, but again with Keith, it's if they can create and take their chances, they have clearly got a chance. But as Thirdy's sort of saying, you would probably Fraserburgh need to win really, and I would probably expect them to do so.
Strathspey Thistle against Rothes, the final game to discuss. I'm not promising you this will be the best game, but I'm promising you it will be the earliest game because it kicks off at 2 p.m. Strathspey, I mean, they need to find something.
Divine intervention. That's what they're needing.
I would suggest it looks like a tall order perhaps to get against Rothes this weekend.
I can't disagree. I think Strathspey they need to just start again. What happened at Devon Vale was a shocker from their point of view. They need to try and wipe that slate clean, just get back to it, try and be hard to beat, and if you get a chance, take it. Two aspects of the game that just wasn't there at all at Princess Royal Park.
You've summed it up well. I mean, it seems like I feel like I've been saying it all season, but it's defensively, Strathspey, they need to be better clearly because they're not giving themselves enough of a chance in games, and they'll be tested against Rothes with players like Greg Morrison, Aidan Wilson, Matthias Mikado. They will cause problems, so you need to stand up to that.
I mean, first and foremost, they're going to hopefully have more than 13 players this weekend.
You would hope so. I mean, I don't know how they're sort of placed at this stage, but I think Charlie Brown will be hoping for a bit more sort of commitment perhaps from 1 or 2.
Right then, well, just a reminder, our games for Monday night's Highland League Weekly, which will go live at 7 p.m. Main game for Martin United against Buckie Thistle in the Highland League Cup quarter-finals. We'll have highlights and reaction from that one, as well as highlights of the tie between Lossiemouth and Brechin City. So tune in, Press and Journal website, 7 p.m. on Monday. We'll see you then.